Hi, and welcome to this episode of John's Motorcycle Rescue and Review. Alright guys, I am once again with my 2000 ZRX1100 project. This is the third video in my ZRX1100 Rescue Project series. In the first video, we took a look at the starting point for this project. When I bought this bike, it was a poor running motorcycle. It was definitely not running on all cylinders, and so I took a gamble and I purchased it anyways, hoping that it would be a simple fix. If you missed the introduction video for the ZRX project and you want to see that, you can click the link above. Since the cosmetics on this bike were already pretty nice when I purchased it, my initial focus was to get the bike running properly, to get it firing on all cylinders, and jetted for the pod filters and the exhaust that are currently on it. My first order of business was pulling the tank and getting in to pull the carbs off. And one of the first things I noticed when I pulled the gas tank off was that my right side coil was disconnected. So I just reconnected that lead. I also noticed that my K-Trick connection was disconnected. I think both of those got disconnected when the previous owner had removed the airbox. So not only was the bike running very lean without the stock airbox on it, it was also only running on 2 cylinders. I was able to turn the bike on and fire it up, and immediately there was a drastic improvement in how the bike ran. It was running on all 4 cylinders, and that was a very good sign for me. So I continued the process of pulling the carburetors off the bike. If you like great motorcycle related content and you want to help support this channel, please consider becoming a member. Members get perks like early access to new videos and bonus content on this channel, and your support will help me continue to make great quality motorcycling videos for you to enjoy. And I just want to give a special shout out to all of my members and subscribers, and those of you who participate in the comment section of this channel. Thank you guys so much. I could not do this without you. Once they were off, I thoroughly cleaned them. They honestly didn't look too bad. There was no varnished gas or old gas in them. There was just a little bit of sediment in the bottom of each of the float bowls. So I cleaned that out. While I was in there, I installed the Dynojet jet kit per the instructions, and it gives you different steps depending on what airbox you have on your bike and what exhaust you have. So I jetted this for this intake, and for the exhaust, I did have to drill out the air fuel mixture screw plugs. That step is in the instructions of the Dynojet kit, and the only thing you want to be careful of there is when you punch through that little plug, you don't want to go right into the top of your air fuel mixture screw. Otherwise you can booger that up and you'll need to order some new ones. Thankfully, I was able to drill those out successfully and get the air fuel mixture screws set to the recommended settings. I then reassembled everything and fired the bike up, and it ran awesome. The only adjustment I had to make after installing the jet kit and getting the cars back on the bike was to set my idle at the proper idle speed. Once that was dialed in, the bike just ran flawlessly. It runs very nicely down the road. It has no hiccups throughout the rev range. It pulls very strong from 2,000 RPM on up. Additionally, I think I gained some horsepower in the mid-range, and it pulls very, very hard from 5,000 RPM to 8,000 RPM. There's not really a spike in the power band, so I didn't suffer any drivability issues in the lower RPM, but I think the combination of the pods and the jet kit and the exhaust actually give this a boost in the mid-range. Once I knew that the motor and the transmission and the brakes and everything else on the bike were healthy, I was able to go in and fully service it. In addition to an oil and filter change, I flushed the fluid in the front brakes. I also flushed the fluid in the rear brakes. And just a note on the ZRX, when you bleed out the rear brake, there are 2 bleed nipples on the rear caliper, and you can easily miss the one on the inside. So you just want to be aware of that if you bleed the brakes on your ZRX. When I purchased this bike, it had adjustable shorty levers on it, and my big hands just didn't fit those as well as I thought they were going to. And what I did was convert this back to the stock levers. So I have a stock brake lever on it and a stock clutch lever. The Kawasaki units are honestly very nice. They are adjustable for different hand sizes, and they function very well. and much better for me than the shorty levers do. While I had the brake fluid out, I also changed the fluid in the hydraulic clutch. That job is very easy to do on the ZRX, and the clutch slave cylinder is mounted just behind this cover, and that comes off easily with two 8mm bolts. I also cleaned and lubricated the chain. When I bought this bike, the chain was so dirty that I didn't know it was a gold color. Thankfully, there were no stretch marks in the chain. The sprockets look good on the bike, and I actually like the gold color of the chain. I think it goes very well with the other gold accents on this motorcycle. Once I was able to get the bike out on the road and check everything over, there really weren't any major adjustments that needed to be made on it. When I got back from a test drive, I was able to test the charging system while the engine was hot, and that was charging at the proper levels. And so overall, the mechanical health of this bike was honestly very good, and I'm very happy about that. It doesn't always go that way when you're buying a bike, especially one that you can't really ride and test out prior to purchasing it. Thankfully, everything really went smoothly on this project mechanically. After the mechanicals were sorted, I went over the bike and I touched up any nicks or dings in the paint. I used some high heat spray paint to touch up the radiator and the exhaust. When you do the touch-up painting on a motorcycle, it can honestly be a little bit tedious. Seems like every time you put the paint away, you see another nick that you haven't touched up. It really pays off to take your time to go over the bike slowly and to touch up all those little places, and all those little corrections add up, and this bike really presents nicely now. While I was doing the touch-up, I removed the bar end weights and the nut that secured my left side mirror. I took those off, I sanded those down, and I reshot those with some spray paint. Once those were thoroughly dried, I reinstalled them on the bike, and now they look back to new again. One of the final cosmetic things I did was to reshape the tail section here. This had been kind of hacked off at an angle, and I just gave it a little bit of a smooth curve. The rear fender has been shortened, but now it doesn't catch your eye and look like a hack job. To me, it looks a little bit nicer and a little bit more like a factory piece. Total working time on this project to date is about 2.5 days. After completing the work, I was able to film the ride review of this motorcycle. If you missed that, it was a really fun video to make. I got to spend time out on the road with the bike, so you get to hear it run, you get to hear it go up through the gears. I talk about the handling and the specs of the bike and the history of the ZRX. If you haven't seen that video and you would like to, you can click the link above. At this point, I have just a few more items on my ZRX work order. One thing I noticed was that the throttle cables are routed improperly. They still function as they should, but I need to move them on the inside of this fork leg. Additionally, I'm waiting on a turn signal lens for the front turn signal here. That should be in shortly. I'll mount that as soon as it comes in. And finally, my handlebar mounts are not quite even from side to side, and so I need to pull the handlebar off, and I need to check my mounts, make sure they're both rotated properly in the upper triple tree, and I just need to make sure that everything is square with the handlebar and the triple trees on the front of the bike. Just a quick update here. Since filming the earlier portion of this video, I was able to completely finish up the ZRX project. I was able to get the handlebars straightened out. It turned out that one of the rubber grommets that goes through the upper triple tree was rotated 180 degrees off. So when I pulled the handlebar off of the bike, I was able to see that. I was able to rotate both of the grommets so where they are lined up properly. I was then able to reinstall the handlebar, and anytime you do this job, you want to turn the bike from lock to lock and make sure you've got plenty of clearance between your gas tank and the controls. That is a critical step anytime you adjust your handlebars on a motorcycle. Oftentimes people adjust their handlebars to where they think they're comfortable. They don't check the clearances. You run the risk of damaging the paint on the tank or denting the tank. You also run the risk of pinching your fingers between the handlebar and the gas tank. I mention this because I have seen misadjusted handlebars on many bikes over the years that have caused damage to the bikes, that have been difficult to ride. And I've even been guilty of doing that myself and damaging a fresh paint job on a bike that I restored because I did not check the clearances from lock to lock after I put a new handlebar on the bike. So I'm speaking from experience. Please learn from my mistake and check your handlebar clearances anytime you loosen the handlebar pinch bolts, anytime you adjust them or change the bars on your bike. I also rerouted my throttle cables so they are set up like the factory cables were run. And finally, my new front turn signal lens came in for the ZRX, and so I was able to replace the cracked unit that was on there. And now this project is officially complete. The ZRX is ready to get out on the road and enjoy. I don't know if you could tell, but I love bringing classic bikes back to life. It is so rewarding. I'm also planning some future content with the ZRX. I do have an '83 Suzuki GS1100E in the garage currently. If you would like to see the ZRX go head-to-head with an actual '80s Superbike, please let me know in the comment section below. As always, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative, and until next time, enjoy the ride.